When it comes to making pulled pork on the grill, few would disagree that using a charcoal grill is better than using a gas grill. But we found through our surveys that most of you use gas grills, so we asked Lan to do the impossible, which is to make a great recipe for pulled pork using a gas grill.
It's not impossible, but it was a little tricky because I had one rule for myself.
What was your rule?
No cheating. I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to use liquid smoke or other smoked products like smoked tea leaves.
There you go.
But it can be done, and we're going to do it now. I'm starting with a 5-pound boneless pork butt roast, and it's pretty simple to work with. I'm just going to trim off any of this extra fat on the outside. I'm not going to worry about the stuff on the inside. When we go to pull this later, we can get rid of that. But this looks pretty great. And then there's just one last bit of knife work. When we go to shred this, we want little bite-sized pieces. You don't want to be tearing into all the larger pieces. So I want to cut this against the grain into 3 slabs. So that's it.
That was easy.
Yeah, now we're going to make a rub. I've got 5 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2.5 teaspoons of ground black pepper, 2 teaspoons of paprika. And again, I'm using a sweet paprika, not a smoked one.
No cheating.
Right. And last up, 2 teaspoons of light brown sugar, and that'll just sweeten it slightly. We're just going to stir this together. I'm going to get in here with my hands and break up the sugar. You don't want any big clumps of sugar in there. So let's just sprinkle this on. And you can see right here, there's kind of a little flap here. That's where the shoulder bone was. You want to make sure you get all of the surfaces covered with this rub so that it's well seasoned. Okay, that's it. So we're just going to wrap this up in a little bit of plastic wrap. We're going to put this in the refrigerator for 6 to 24 hours to let the salt penetrate.
Okay.
Before we head outside, we need to work on the source of our smoke because that gas grill isn't going to provide much. So I've got 4 cups of hickory wood chips here, and you can really use almost any type of wood. Maybe avoid mesquite because it's so intense.
Yeah.
I've soaked just half of them. Soaking the chips actually prevents them from smoking. You get all the smoke from the dry chips, and then when that starts to peter out, you get the smoke from the wet chips.
Gotcha. So this will smoke right away, but these will smoke a little later after these have burned out.
Right. So I'm just going to drain this.
Now, how long do you have to soak the chips?
Just 15 minutes. It's pretty fast. Let's just dump these on here. I want to make sure these packets are 4.5 inches by 8 inches. We found that that'll sit on almost any grill. I've actually made enough that I happen to know that my hand is almost the right size. That's about right. I like to fold up both sides and then fold up the ends.
Okay.
We're going to flip these guys over.
Okay.
And they're not getting any oxygen now, so we're going to put in a couple of slits. I'm going to put in 2 2-inch slits.
All right.
That's it. Ready to go outside?
I am.
Okay, Julia, I have our chip packets in place. Now, it doesn't really matter which one goes where as long as they're both over the primary burner. And right next door, I'm going to put down this disposable pan, and I'm going to add 6 cups of water. The water's important because it keeps the grill temperature really steady, and it lowers it just slightly. It acts as a heat sink.
Ah, that makes sense.
I'm just going to set this back in place. Okay, so just going to shut this. We're going to let this preheat for about 15 minutes, and in that time, that first chip packet will start smoking, and the grates will start to heat up, which will mean the meat won't stick to them. It's been 15 minutes. As you can see, first packet smoking, second one's nice and chill out back.
You can smell it.
Yeah, I'm just going to scrape this clean. And I'm going to oil this grill, and that's just going to pick up any soot that's hanging out on those grates. Before I do anything, I'm going to turn all of my burners off except the primary burner. And the primary burner, I'm going to adjust to about medium, and that's going to maintain a grill temperature of about 300 degrees. Now it's time for the pork. We're going to put these right on top of the water pan, and I want the meat to be about maybe 6 or so inches away from our source of smoke. So we're going to shut this and let this go for about 90 minutes. That second chip packet made from the soaked chips, it'll get going in about 20 minutes once all that water evaporates, and our total smoke time will be about 90 minutes.
Ooh.
It's been about 90 minutes, no more smoke, but these guys have a ways to go. What I'm going to do is transfer them to this pan. It's going to catch all the fat and juices that are going to be released. I'm going to slide this over.
Off the heat.
And we're going to shut this, and we're going to let this go another 2.5 to 3 hours.
We're talking about a total cook time of 4 to 4.5 hours.
Yeah, so Let's say I had forgotten to check my propane tank and I noticed that my temperature is dropping. Now's the time where you can move it inside and just pop it in a 300-degree oven.
Right.
It's been about 2.5 hours. Let's have a look.
Ooh.
Doesn't that look great? So we're shooting for a temperature of about 200 degrees.
Nice.
Yeah.
That smells delicious.
Let's head inside.
All right. Still looks good.
Yeah, right. Before we can do anything though, this has to rest for about 20 minutes. I'm just gonna move it onto the cutting board.
Oh, beautiful.
It's so tender. These juices are full of pork flavor and smoke flavor. So I'm going to transfer them to this fat separator. And we're just gonna let that hang out for a little bit, let the fat separate out to the top. That takes about 5 minutes. And during that time, we can go make the sauce.
Okay.
So I have 2 cups of apple cider vinegar here, and that's the basis of our sauce. So this is 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and it just adds a little body to the sauce. I've also got 2 teaspoons of light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes.
Ooh.
And then to season it, just a teaspoon of kosher salt. And we just whisk this together, really just to dissolve the sugar and salt. So it's been 20 minutes. It's time to start shredding.
Okay, and I see some forks here.
Yeah,
I suppose you want me to help.
I'm putting you to work.
Happy to help.
You just kind of get in there and you steady the meat with 1 fork and you use the second one to pull at the edges to make little pieces. I'm looking for something that's bite size, and if you run across any fat or gristle, now's the time to set it aside. So once we finish shredding this, time to eat. So this is almost ready. We're just gonna dress it a little bit. I have those juices here and they've rested, so I'm gonna pull out about 1/3 of a cup. And then a little bit of that sauce. I've got just a 1/2 cup. Nice little toss. You ready to try this?
I am.
Let's go. I've got potato rolls here, and they're my favorite way to serve this, but white sandwich bread is really great. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
Great. Pickles?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think 3 pickles would be perfection.
Tiny bit more sauce?
Just a drizzle. Oh, that is art.
It's just the right amount of smoke, right?
You nailed it. If I hadn't watched you do this, I would have never known that you did it on a gas grill. The smoke flavor is delicate and fragrant, and you can taste the pork, and the pork is tender but still juicy because you let it go into the pan, and just the right amount of sauce on it.
Yeah.
This is delicious. Well done.
Thank you.
So you heard it here first. You can make great barbecue on a gas grill. Start by cutting a pork butt roast into 3 pieces and season with salt, pepper, paprika, and brown sugar. Prepare 2 packets of wood chips, 1 soaked and 1 unsoaked, and put them on the grill alongside a pan of water. Once the grill is hot, turn off all but 1 burner and cook the pork directly on the grill for 1.5 hours. Then transfer the pork to a disposable pan and continue to cook for 2.5 to 3 hours longer. And last but not least, make a quick sauce. From America's Test Kitchen to your kitchen, an incredible new recipe for smoky pulled pork on a gas grill. Thanks for watching America's Test Kitchen. What'd you think?
Well, leave a comment and let us know which recipes you're excited to make, or you can just say hello.
You can find links to today's recipes and reviews in the video description.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
See you later.
I'll see you later.